All right, hello everybody, and welcome to episode 23 of the PT Footy podcast with a very weird cast today. Kevin probably won't be here, and Brian had some issues. Alex didn't watch all the games this week, so he's not on. So in his place, we got Sam.
Hello, thanks for having me back on again.
It's a pleasure to have you here again. Neil.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on.
And last minute appearance by Sergio.
Hello, everybody. What's going on? What's up?
All right, so thank you all for coming on. I mean, such short notice. But we got this going apparently, so it's good. Now I just want to obviously quickly mention Portugal ended up beating Latvia. I think it was 4-1, right, guys? 4-1.
Yep, those were one.
Yeah.
All right. So and then we were just not sure if we were gonna do a podcast that week because literally we had nothing to talk about. So this one, we got games to talk about at least finally, and no more international football until like March, which is amazing. So, but we're gonna start here off with Sporting and Sam. You guys played Praiense for the Taça. I'm gonna give you the lineup real quick though. Batu was goalkeeper. Gaio, Douglas, Oliveira, and Jefferson across the back. Adrian was in with Elias. Mateus Pereira making his debut, I believe, with Alan Ruiz on the other wing, Cesar and Castanhos. Obvious question: what did you think when Brian scored that goal?
I was actually watching the game with my dad, and we both had the same reaction, which was just, how has that happened? Like, our team obviously isn't the first team, but it was still a very strong side to go into a Taça against a third division team with. So how they scored in like the first couple of minutes of the game, a loss, maybe 2 or 3, but luckily turned it around. So it's all good there.
I must say, guys, like that was a sexy goal from Praiense.
It was.
Oh yeah, it was a good goal. It was a good goal. But yeah, you guys ended up turning it around. But one guy that I simply did not enjoy watching was Castanhos.
I don't understand why we signed him. I saw a stat the other day. I think he hasn't scored in, I think it was 300 and something minutes of game time. He hasn't scored a single goal, and for some reason we've signed him for I think €2 million. And why? I would rather bring someone in from the youth academy, a young Portuguese striker, and bring Castanhos in for $2 million.
Yeah, you guys had somebody. Remember, you sent away on loan the youngster. What was his name?
Cosmane?
No, not Mane. Starts with the P. Oh frig, what was his name?
Progess.
They were talking about. Yeah, that's it.
There you go. You're welcome. Sam, I don't know if you know. Obviously, this is all rumors, but one time I was watching TV and the guys were talking, and that Castanhos was a Bruno Carvalho signing. That JJ didn't want him.
I probably agree because JJ makes signings. Like Markovic he might not have played well so far, but it's a good signing for us. Joel Campbell as well. Even in the past, he's made some good signings. Brian Ruiz, for example. I don't think that was George Jesus' decision. That must have been the Carvalho wanted him maybe to build him up and sell him on for profit, but probably not working at this point.
Yeah, he got a little bit burnt, but it is what it is. So the people were saying, "Oh, that's his first game," and I was like, "No, mate, JJ just slapped him on against Dortmund, just no reason." But there isn't much to talk about this game. I'll just ask what you thought about Douglas because he is one of the new signings. So
I'm surprised he hasn't found his way into the first team yet, but there is obviously some good competition at centre back with Semedo and Coates, who have both, I think, 2 of the best partnerships in the league for centre backs.
Got my eye on you.
But yeah,
sorry.
So although he did concede, it wasn't really his fault.
No, he was more Jefferson. Which brings me to my question. What are you thinking of Jefferson? Is he worth selling now? Like just get rid of him somewhere?
Depends if we could get a replacement left back for Zegler, because if he gets injured and then we don't have a left back, we might have to put, I don't know, maybe Douglas in, maybe Scalotto in, who's playing. So if we got a left back, a replacement, I would be fine for selling Jefferson, because he's not the best player, but no disrespect to him. So I'd say we cut our losses with him, sell him.
Which is weird, because he used to be so good, and I just wonder what happened to him. I mean, I know players regress, but
didn't have that much competition at Sporting before in the left back position. But now we signed Zegler, who is fast. He sometimes can deliver a ball into the area, while Jefferson competition to go by. So I think that's the reason for his decline.
I suppose so. That is a good point. Is there anything to add to this game? I mean, there isn't much to talk about, is it?
At the end, Jesus' comments about Andre. Yeah, I was going to say about becoming Liedson.
Oh my God.
I think was a bit over the top.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 goals
You know
against
what,
the team side makes me.
Yeah, I understand that, but he is a good alternative. I think he should get a couple more games. I think he's a good prospect.
To be fair.
Yeah, exactly. There's all these rumors about Teo coming back. Teo obviously raised some hell this past weekend in Argentina. With Boca Juniors, he made some kind of signal to the crowd and almost created a riot. So he might be signaling his way back to Portugal sooner rather than later, which actually would actually be a big improvement to what you have right now up front. I think Sporting would definitely get a big lift getting Teo back. But again, Andre might be worth a look, I think, up front, just because of based on that performance. But he's a young guy, and I think he might turn some heads. I mean, I know a lot of flack has been thrown at Markovic lately, but you never know about Andre, right?
Yeah, hopefully.
Andre is not super young, though. I think
he's 26, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay.
Might be a little bit over that.
Yeah,
probably.
But yeah, your point still stands, though. So basically that was it, right? About Brian's game. I mean, not really much to talk about then after those comments by JJ. So we're just gonna move on to the Real Madrid game, which was a lot more important, I'd say, and there's lots more to talk about. Obviously, Sporting ended up losing that game 2-1. Although Adrian Silva managed to score from a penalty. There we go. Almost forgot who scored. The lineup was obviously completely different. I think Adrian was the only player Adrian and Bruno Cesar were the only 2 players that stayed from the same lineup. So it was Patricio back in goal, João Pereira, Coates, Medo, Marvin across the back, William and Adrian Silva, Gelson, Ruiz, Bruno Cesar, and Bas Dost. Sam, what did you think of Sporting's performance overall?
Against a team like Real Madrid, I thought we played really, really well up until maybe the red card, even though we scored after that. But I felt like we played well.
Yeah.
We were lucky. We were unlucky even to be behind in the first half. That's just my opinion. Obviously, you might disagree, but we finished with, I think my notes here say 59 possession, and Sporting finished with 40%. Those numbers don't really show the game in total, because I thought we played much better than the stats tell.
Even without the red card, I thought Real Madrid was going to go in there and smash you guys at the Alvalade, but you guys definitely held your own. And when that game was tied, those Sporting fans were going nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then they conceded and didn't hear anybody.
That's a tough way to concede, though. That's a tough way to concede because I got to give credit to Sporting. I mean, they could have folded after the first goal, but they kept up, and you really see the value of Adrian Silva, especially in that game. He was in everybody's face. He was the leader. He was in the referee's face as well on a couple of fouls. He was the leader, and he basically took that team on his back and led them. And well-deserved penalty. And I'm glad that he got the. I think so. We can talk about it. We'll talk about, and trust me, I'm a Benfica at heart, and it pains me to hear Fábio Coentrão giving up a penalty against Sporting, but you know what? It's given what they were doing up to that point, Sporting deserved a goal. I mean, they played a really well balanced game, and Gelson Martins again was on fire. That kid is gonna get sold for some good money. I'm telling you. So power to them. They had a pretty good match, considering they're playing the defending champion league winners. So power to them.
I agree.
All right, so the penalty. Okay, let's talk the penalty real quick. What's everybody's thoughts on this?
I would have given a penalty, but
penalty. I would have given
handball in the area.
No, come on. If it was a Benfica we'd all be saying penalty as well.
Nah,
it's a penalty. You have to.
I think it's unfair to give the penalty, to be honest, because it's not as if he did it on purpose. Like, it wasn't even. It was just random. He was asking for a foul, and the ball hit his arm. I mean, how is that?
He was asking for a handball for Joel Campbell as well, so it was a bit ironic how he was asking for a handball and then.
Yeah, but regardless, you're in the box. Why is your hands up? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't. You have to have.
I get you guys' point, but I just don't think we need to figure out a rule, okay? If the ball hits the hand, it's penalty no matter what, or something, because we got to come up with a rule. Because sometimes refs say, "Oh, he didn't intend to have the ball," so
typically,
no penalty.
The way I look at it is typically if you have your hand or your arm basically attached to your body, or you're making it against your body, that's not a penalty, and it hits your hand, it's not a penalty because you're trying to avoid it. Now, if you have your hands out and it hits your ball and it deflects, the projection of the ball, and it will influence where it goes, I think that's a penalty, right? Like if it's interfering in its projection, then I have to call a penalty, regardless of whether it's intentional or not intentional. You as a soccer player, and I get it, you can't control where your hands are at times when you're jumping up, but you need to handle yourself in the box. And I think in a case like that, he shouldn't have had his hands up. I remember there was a case like this in the English Premier League a couple of months back, and they were talking about it, and a penalty was given, and a lot of the pundits were split on as well. So it's not an easy call for sure, but you got to give the referee the benefit of the doubt there.
No, I get it. I get it. I get your point. I was just, saying that it's something that I think it just needs to be studied. I think it's gotten to a point where it needs to be clarified, to a point where it's absolute no doubt and no interpretation needed. Like, this is the rule we're going with. This is what you guys are gonna call if it's a penalty or not. But I guess we can talk about the other controversial point. What did you guys think about the standing off?
I don't think it was a red card. Again, I'm a Sporting fan. So.
I didn't see the replay. Like I heard the commentary. I mean, I heard what the Real Madrid player said, that he got punched, but
which he did.
I don't know. Did the replays? I only saw the replay during the game. Was the replay clear? Like, did he actually punch him?
Yeah. I don't know if it's the right fist or the left fist that just bumps into his stomach. It punched him, and like to a certain degree, like I was thinking, was that really a foul at first when I didn't see the replay? But then I started thinking about the referee. He barely gave any yellow cards. Yeah. He ran to every single player to try and calm them down. Even when they were running away from him, he still ran to them, told him to calm down, didn't give any cards, and then from all of a sudden he just sends off a player for no reason. It just won't make any sense if you ask me. That's why I think that it is a punch, and it is a red card offense because the referee. He's not one of those refs that just wanted to give out yellow cards. No, he was thinking the game, and I don't think that he just sent off João Pereira because he wanted.
Yeah, he had a lot of patience.
Another angle as well, because the angle they show the replay on, I couldn't really see what channel they were talking about. But I guess the referee was there. He had a better view than we did, so.
It was right in front of the assistant ref. That is a thing we cannot take away because he was right in front of him, and I got the image right here, and I believe it probably is the right. Yeah, it's the right hand. It is the right hand.
Yeah.
But even what was João Pereira trying to do there? If he, I don't know. But you've got to think what's going through his mind, because if your hand is raised like in a punching motion towards, I think it was Kovacic.
Yeah.
Of course, the referee is going to give you a red card. So I don't know what João Pereira was thinking there, to be honest.
Yeah, I sent you all the picture. I mean, I know it's not 100% clear, but you guys free to interpret that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the only thing I don't like is when our friend JJ comes out and says, "Fair play, uma treta," buddy. At the last person, and again, coming from a Benfica fan who lived through o campeonato in 93 and 13-14 and o bicampeonato and limpinho. Like you can't. I love how he takes both sides at the end of the day. I mean. It's another chapter in the long book that is Jorge Jesus. Let me tell you.
Yeah, and I thought it was ridiculous when he started talking about fair play, simply because the last couple of games, and I know it wasn't this past week, but in 2 games in a row, an opponent player was down. The team put the ball out so the player could be assisted by the medical team. And then Sporting never gave the ball back twice. That happened twice.
The thing was though, it started when it went down. Dortmund had the ball, and they didn't kick it out when they had possession. But as soon as we got possession, they wanted us to kick it out. So,
that was a little silly. That was a little silly. I will agree with Sam there. That was a little silly.
Yeah, but it wasn't just in that game that I saw that, Sam.
Yes.
So I'm pretty sure that it happened more than once. I can't.
It goes both ways, right? Yeah.
But it's just that he's talking about fair play when he doesn't even. He's not even into fair play at all.
There's your Benfica shining, Peter.
Sorry, but I think I speak what I think. What is it? What do you want, man?
It's true. I hear you.
But I guess we can focus a little bit more on the game here. And Coates, Sam, what do you think?
In my opinion, player of the night. I think he was outstanding on the defensive side. He stopped every ball, apart from the last goal, obviously. But every goal, every chance Real Madrid had, Coates was there to stop it. And I think, for me, Sporting's man of the match.
Isn't it Coates? Because there's no accent.
No, it's Coates. It's Coates.
Okay, I've been
It's Uruguayan, yeah. Now, is he worth the signing? Like, would you be more than willing to? Is he loaned right now? He's still on loan, right?
Yeah, he's still on loan.
Clause, I think it's 8 million.
6 million. No, 6.5 million.
6 million.
So, in your opinion, would you sign him now? 6.5 billion.
The recent rumor is that he is going to AC Milan. So AC Milan are going to try and swoop.
No, he can't do that. They can't do that. They can't do that. They can't do that.
Why not? What's going on?
Sporting's got dibs. They can't do that.
They
can swap. They can swap.
What coming straight away?
No, what they can do is that they can talk to Sporting and buy him off Sporting. That they can do. They can't go ahead and talk to Liverpool because let's say Coates has a deal and it says until the 1st of July, if Sporting can sign the player for 6.5 million. After that, the player's free to sign for anybody else. That is
That was
when I
the rumor I
come in.
saw. So I'm not sure. Maybe.
No, it can't happen because it's that rumor's been out before with other players, and that never happens. It cannot be done. I think it was Layun actually. There were some people saying that Layun wasn't even going to stay at Porto, but Porto had dibs on him, so they snatched him up. That's how it works.
Mm-hmm.
So you won't really have to worry about that. I mean, you can sell him on for a profit. That you can do, but they just can't, pick up the player and say, "All right, he's ours."
Yeah. Okay.
But he is turning into a pretty good player at the back, right? Like he's turning into that solid, consistent player, center back that Sporting has been desperate to have for the last couple of years.
Yeah,
I agree.
Probably their best center back besides Paulo Oliveira. I'm still high on Paulo Oliveira, guys. I love the guy.
I like him too.
I love the guy. It's so bad that he just got pushed aside. Come to Benfica, mate. You'll be happy here. You'll win league titles.
The Benfica.
Yeah, just like him.
different. Let's not even get into that. I do think though that Sporting were a lot more dominant in Madrid than at the Alvalade, because I thought that Real nailed down those first 45 minutes.
Now, what did you guys think about Ronaldo's performance?
He should have scored. Why didn't he score?
He's poor because he was bad.
He scored 3 goals in the Madrid derby.
They gave him man of the match, and I don't understand how.
He was terrible.
How did he get that?
Yeah,
it's terrible. He's terrible. He didn't do anything.
Yeah.
No. I don't think any Real Madrid player really stood out though. To be quite honest, maybe Varane, I suppose, because he did score. But
Benzema's goal was pretty cool too.
Yeah, it was a good goal.
Good goal, but he didn't do much. He came out in the second half. Like, I mean, yeah, I agree. The Real Madrid wasn't impressive at all. Like, I wasn't impressed by Marcelo was shaking the back.
Don't rate him.
Yeah, like Sporting, I wouldn't have been like. I'll be honest, I wouldn't have been surprised if Sporting had snatched the win at the end. Because they deserve full marks for standing up to them and getting that first goal in the second half.
No, yeah, definitely. Like I was talking about that. Like I think Sporting can win this because I just don't trust Zidane. I just don't. The way that Sporting came out and dominated in Madrid just can't happen. It can't happen. So I knew that they had a chance because they have the better manager. But they individually they ended up being superior, and nobody's stopping that Benzema header, and then it nailed out the game. By the way, congratulations on having 50,000 people for the first time in like 14 years. Congratulations.
Alvalade holds 50,000 people?
Yeah, 50,014 people.
I didn't know it was that much.
Yeah, it's like 51,000, I guess, but they never really give out them.
I think that was the biggest European attendance ever. That's not the biggest attendance ever at the stadium, but it's the biggest European one ever.
I might be wrong, but I don't agree with you, Sergio. I need to look it up. But...
Do you think so? I think that's only for Europe. I think that was the biggest for Europe.
I don't think they ever surpassed 49,000 people.
Oh, really? Okay, that'd be interesting to find out.
Yeah, if somebody can get onto that. Neil, get onto that. Pretty sure you can find something about that.
What I have been impressed. And there's not much to be impressed as a Benfiquista with Bruno Carvalho, but there is one thing I am impressed about is how he's galvanized the
fans,
the socios and the fans, and they are now supporting them because under Godinho and Dias Freire and all the other guys, they weren't as galvanized. They weren't as proud to be a Sportingista as they are now. Now, whether it's because of Bruno and what he says, that we can debate that forever, and this podcast will go into 3 hours. But you know what I mean? Like I will give him credit that he has galvanized them in his quirky little way, and they are supporting him because now I think they were averaging 43,000 people for Liga games now, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, but there's a little bit of a downside to that. Sorry, Sam, if you're going to say something, because I've read some news about just the Sporting fans being a lot more aggressive towards Benfica fans, even on the street now, with some fights
I'm not
around and all
right.
that. So I mean, because Benfica is making a personal attack on them, it's making the fans a little bit more edgy as well, which is bad. It's not good.
No, I know, and there's
What, Sam?
In general, though, to be fair, like there's going to be some clashes between the fans.
It is, but Bruno Carvalho is, when he's talking about Sporting, he's talking as if they're getting screwed over. They don't deserve this. They're always getting basically screwed over by Benfica because Benfica controls the whole system. And it makes the fans angry towards Benfica when we have nothing to do with that. I think that, that's Peter, the error.
Peter, let me stop you there. Doesn't that remind you of a certain person called João Valisvedo? Back in the 90s.
I'm way off.
Back in the 90s.
I got no idea, dude. I got no idea, dude. I can't say a word about that, dude. I'm way off. Like,
back in the 90s. Trust me, I grew up with this. Neil grew up with this. Back in the 90s, era sempre o sistema, o Pinto Costa, a fruta, everything. So it's the same narrative, regardless of which color you paint. It's the same narrative.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's Sporting.
I know, I agree. Now, like I said, I know we're getting on topic here.
That's all right.
There's a lot of stuff that we can go on and on and on about Bruno Carvalho and what he's done and the pitfalls and whatnot. But the one thing I will say is, the one observation I have is that he's galvanized their fan base, and they're now showing huge support. And that 50,000 people at yesterday's game shows that people are behind him and behind the team full out. And and that's what, regardless of which team you support, that's only good for Portuguese soccer, right?
Yeah,
you want more people in the stadiums at the end of the day.
Yeah, true, and I do agree with you. But straight up question, Sam, if let's say Sporting doesn't win the league, then they don't win the task, they don't win anything this year, they go out and go to the Europa League, have a decent performance, let's say quarterfinals, semifinals, but don't win anything. Can you say that Bruno Carvalho was successful as a Sporting manager, as a Sporting president?
Well, from what he's done, from where we used to be, he's obviously, like you said, built us up a lot more, because there were times that we didn't qualify for the Champions League, in the league, even the Europa League sometimes. So what he's done is come in here and made us title contenders, which obviously is a great thing, like you said, for Portuguese soccer or football. Even though I'm saying soccer now for some reason.
Because they say soccer.
Soccer.
You say soccer.
Don't get it started on yards and centimeters. The Montreal fans are still pissed at us for making fun of them yesterday.
Why? What happened though?
Well, because of the MLS game yesterday, they didn't measure the 18-yard box properly. They had to redo the penalty area before the game. It's another podcast. Let's not talk about that.
Okay.
I'll talk offline with you. It's actually pretty funny.
All right. But okay. So successful?
Yeah, I would say.
All right. Neil?
No, I was going to say, first off, what did you want me to look up?
Record attendance at the Alvalade.
So originally it was the game against Benfica last year was 49,600 something.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a new record, 50,046.
Wow. Okay.
There you go. I told you, Sergio.
There you go. Yeah. 50,000. It's still impressive at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, true. Neil, when was the stadium built?
The Alvalade?
Yeah.
That's 2003. 2003. But I know for a fact. Yeah.
All right, 13 years then. Took it
August 6, 2003.
All right, so it took him 13 years to get over 50,000 people in there. They managed. Sorry, just taking a quick hit at Sporting, obviously, as usual. Let's move on though now, and I'm not sure that Kevin is gonna come on, but I do want to discuss this game, so we're just gonna go ahead and do it. I'm sorry, Kevin. We'll have your word next week if you want to.
I'll represent Kevin. I'll talk about Porto this week.
Sure. Let's talk Porto Chaves then. Because this game's worth talking about. I'm pretty sure almost everybody saw it, which is a good thing. But anyway, let me just give everybody the lineup so they know what's up. So it was José Sá in goal with Maxi, Felipe Marcano, and Tedes across the back. Danilo and Andre. In the midfield, Varela, Otávio, Jota, and André Silva up front. Now, who watched the game?
I watched it. I watched it. I watched the game, and I watched you and Kevin go at it on Twitter.
Oh boy.
So to take Kevin's position, Carubavela do caralho. Oh my god! But from a neutral standpoint, there was 2 clear penalties that should have been called, one on each side for Porto and Chaves. Okay. There's that second one that is debatable. It's 50-50. I don't know. What do you think, Peter?
I think the
could lean towards Porto.
Yeah, I think his back's turned and he's now looking at the ball. I mean, if I'm defending Fábio Coentrão, which is a lot clearer handball, I'm defending this one as well.
Right. Yeah, and I'm thinking that could have gone Porto's way. They might have a shout on that, but you know what? I know they came out with their Facebook video of 12 penalties that should have been called.
Did you even watch the first one? Did you even watch the video?
Dude, I would get that video and I'd put the Titanic music to it, dude, and loop it over and over.
Yeah, but like the first one wasn't even a penalty. Like the first video, the first play they show, it's not even a penalty, which I thought was hilarious.
I mean, that's exactly it, right? But anyways, to be fair, so the game, I think, and this is probably what you could say about Porto in the last 5 games, including yesterday.
Yeah,
they have not finalized their chances. They've created chances. They're a great team going front with Olivier, with Torres, with Coruna, with André Silva, but they're not finalizing those chances those last 5 games.
Yeah,
and that's again against Chaves was the same thing. And I know we can talk about Copenhagen, but they're not finalizing their chances.
Yeah, I saw a stat. It was a crazy stat. Like before the game even started against Chaves, I think that they went 480 something minutes with 2 goals.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, Kevin's video calling me. Hold on. Looks like we're gonna have somebody join.
SLB.
Nah, you guys.
Here's the puta.
Oh my god. No. Yo, keep it PG, bro. Keep it PG. We're PG friendly, bro.
No, but look at it. So they scored against Benfica. They scored against Club Brugge. And then
that was it.
That was it.
That was it. And they didn't score against Stubble. But again, Bruno Varela in that game was outstanding. Just like he was against Benfica in the second round. They haven't in the three of these last 5 games. They've created the chances. They just haven't finished them off and finalized those chances. You can't. It's not the defense. It's just they haven't been able to slot the ball in. Right.
All right. Real quick before Kevin gets you. Does anybody like Felipe?
I know I typed in a comment to Simon FC Porto Global that he looks strong, and I think he's a great player like in the back. I didn't see him. I didn't pay attention to him in the last 2 games.
Amazing! Now we got echo. Kevin, fix the echo, bro.
That's me, son of a bitch again. All right, hold on. Give me 1 second.
All right.
Time's money, bro.
All right. It was just because I don't really like him, so that's why I asked. I just don't rate him.
No, I like him. Hey, when Kevin gets his act together, I want to know.
What about now? Am I good?
Yeah.
Yep. You're good.
Kevin, before you talk for 20 minutes, what's the deal with Sergio Oliveira? He was like the new promising rising star of Portugal, and he's played like basically no minutes for Porto this year. What's up with that?
It's not Lopetegui playing him, that's for sure. So, Nuno, I don't agree with some of his decisions. I do think that Sergio could have played some matches for us. He could have been useful. But I mean,
Teixeira.
yeah, and Peter, I really wanted to see him. I thought he had a really, really good preseason.
Yeah, you were high on him.
I'm surprised. Yeah, I'm surprised Andre hasn't been given the chance to shine as well.
Yo, I thought it was ridiculous that he was playing out wide against Chaves. What the hell?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's up with that?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get him. I don't get what's going on with Andre. Like, he had a great start to last season, and he's just fallen off completely. And it's
you know what my dad said? Rui Vitória is his manager. That's what he said. Just about that, like just Rui Vitória. It is a good point because he hasn't been the same. But I guess so much was go ahead and Kevin, what did you think of the game, huh?
I thought the game against Chaves.
Yeah, we're talking about Chaves.
All right. I thought that it was a hard-fought match between both teams. Porto obviously wanted it more. Chaves were defending. You could tell that they wanted to go to extra time and go to the penalties and try their luck there, which worked out on their end. I mean, we had our chances towards the end of the match. We pushed mostly was towards the end of the match, which, that pisses me off because they could do that like
every single
most
time.
of the match. Exactly. And end the match early instead of trying to force it all at the end like they did with Copenhagen yesterday. So, I mean, we were a little unlucky. And I believe it was Neil that said Robadella do Caral, yeah.
No, that was Sergio.
Sergio, yeah. He represented me well. He's one of my favorite Benfiquistas, Sergio.
And Kevin,
you're
one of our favorite Portistas because there's not too many of you that are smart.
Take that as a compliment.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad.
Dude, I have Portistas family members. You're probably one of the smartest Portistas I ever met.
Oh, thank you. I take that as a compliment. I try to look at it more of an honest way, and I try to respect every club. You guys have vouchers going on and spitting and whatnot, but when it comes to directly to the games, like I'll try to be as fair as I can. I know sometimes I do get a little carried away when Porto's playing, and I'm on the pod account, and Incomendas faixas que já acabei, you know what I mean? It's tough. It's just a spur of the moment thing, but then I'll go back and I'll delete it. But,
so the penalty, that second penalty. So me and Peter were talking about it. What do you think about that second non-call for Porto? Is that a penalty in your opinion?
Now that you're all calm down.
Yeah, I believe it is a penalty because the player went up when he turned his back. He tucked his body towards the direction where he knew the ball was going to go. He knew where it was going. So to me, there was intent, and that's enough to give the penalty. But I'm not surprised that they shown Capello.
Real question though, can you see why he didn't give it though?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, in a way.
Okay, that's more favorable. By the way, we were talking here pre-pod before it even started, and I'm just going out and say it. João Capello is just trash. He's bad. He's a bad ref. It's got nothing to do with Porto. He's just bad.
I just, you know what? Honestly, I think he should just retire at the end of the season because I'm sick and tired of hearing people use Capella as an excuse. It's not against you, Kevin. I mean, no, but it's gone on and on and on. I mean, every time, and this is the truth, every time he gets elected to referee a Benfica game, everybody starts going, he's gonna be favoring him, and I just wish the guy here's a package. Go on your way, retire right now because we don't need the distraction of Capella. The guy can do no right anymore. Like he's gonna be he's been tarred and feathered so much in Portugal that there's no way he can recover from that. So he just might as well just leave and retire from this point on. Do you guys agree?
Yeah,
I do. Dude, you need non-Portuguese refs, man. This shit is gonna keep going on. There's 24 refs in the FPF. They're all associated with one of the big three teams. Like, there's always going to be controversy.
Yeah, obviously.
You need to go to Iceland and get refs, or, Spain or France. Like, dude, how much is it to get a ref from Spain or France into Portugal?
Yeah, you can. I'm just...
60 euros. Take them in.
Our refs are good. This new batch is just bad because we have good refs.
No, I'm
And
sure we have good refs. But
we have the example of Proença was absolute shit refereeing Benfica. Yeah, in Europe everybody liked the guy. I mean, except for the Mexicans. The Mexicans hate him, but no, wait, was it the Mexicans that hate him? Yeah, it's the Mexicans.
Yeah, it was the Mexicans at World Cup 2014 in Brazil, right? The Mexicans, yeah,
it was the Mexicans. Besides them, everybody liked them, and we have good potential refs. I just think that they're so pressured right now that they're the focal point over every single match day. Everybody goes like, "Oh, it's Capella, it's I don't know, it's Jorge Sousa, it's Xistra, it's Soares Dias,
Manuel Oliveira."
And Manuel Mota. It's every time it's those refs, and it's got to change. I don't know.
I don't doubt their quality. It's just like, they're all associated with one club, and I don't care how much of a professional you are. If you're reffing a Porto Benfica game and you're a Portista, guess what? You're gonna want your team to win, and vice versa.
Neil, you were never a ref, and I gotta take my dad's word for it. And he says that as soon as you jump on that pitch and you start refereeing, you don't even think who's playing.
But straight up, if I was a ref, I'd want Benfica to win. I'd do calls for them.
That's what my dad said. I say that to my dad, and then he says, "Dude, if you're on the pitch, you will forget who you're refereeing. I'll tell you that."
Yeah, but those guys, they're making. How much does a ref make in Portugal? Like 600 euros a game,
plus vouchers.
Yeah.
They'll never go hungry in Portugal as long as
600 euros. And then there's one of the presidents saying, "Oh, here's 5,000 extra. Have a good day. Here's a vacation to Bangkok. Have a nice day." You know what I mean?
The problem with referees in Portugal is there's only 3 teams. You grew up either cheering up.
There's only
majority
one team.
Of the time.
Okay, we'll say 3.
Okay, fine, Neil. All right.
Yeah, let's say
just to play neutral for now. You grew up with one of the 3 teams, right? There was the 5% that grew up cheering on other teams. So you grew up cheering on one of those 3 teams. So unfortunately, there's always going to be the perception that you're pulling for one team or another. That's why in Europe or in World Cup qualifying or at the World Cup, you'll never have a ref from a country referee another game where in that same group. You know what I mean? Like if Portugal's in the group with somebody else, that Portuguese ref will never ref the other match. You know what I mean? Because of influence. They want to cut influence out as much as possible. So it's hard to do that in Portugal. You're always going to have a referee who probably grew up a Benfiquista, Sportingista, or Portista, right? Like it's tough. So to Peter's point, you got to trust the professionalism of the referees that they're going to step onto that pitch and put everything to the side and referee their life out because that's their passion, right? That's what they've trained for. They've made, like, I can't imagine somebody going through all these years of training and studies and just blow away by going onto the pitch and then starting to favor one team or another. Mind you, though, there's been a lot of cases, right? There's been cases over the last 30 years of people being influenced here or there, whether it be women, whether it be vouchers, whether it be this. I'm not saying that there isn't corruption in football. There certainly is, but we have to trust our gut that these guys are going to be professionals about shit like this, right?
Yeah, and it's been like 3-4 years, and it's been the same thing. Like Porto fans complain, Benfica fans complain, Sporting fans complain. I've been saying this for since the Proença missed offside Maicon goal that screwed us over. It's the refs that are bad. It's not that they're doing it on purpose. Some refs are just bad. We have a bad batch of referees, and we got to deal with that. I guess we just got to keep improving. I don't think Porto is getting screwed over on purpose. I just don't believe that. I don't see that happening. I was going to ask Sam if you wanted to weigh in on this because he has been awfully quiet.
I just like listening to you argue. But I do think, like you said, corruption in the Portuguese football is obviously there. But sometimes also just an excuse when a team loses. It's the referee. It's never say or Sporting's team or Benfica's team, sometimes the ref will be have a good game, and then the fans of the team who lose just blame the ref automatically.
Yeah.
But then again, that's just football in general, not Portuguese. That's English, French, German, whatever.
But in England, what's interesting is they prefer the English refs, and unlike Portugal, you're not gonna have most of the refs only into 3 teams. Like you'll have a ref who is a freaking Leeds fan, die hard, and another guy who's a Newcastle fan, right?
But there's professional there's a I would say refereeing and even football in general in Britain is at a different level in terms of professionalism. I mean,
oh, for sure.
Even at the league, like even how it's administered and how it's managed. I mean, it blows the Portuguese league away. It's like comparing 5th division to the 1st division. It's night and day, right?
Yeah, it's how a player gets, punches somebody and gets punished the next day and doesn't have to wait 6 months for the punishment.
That's a perfect example. So what Sam's saying is right. You'll have people always complain about referees, but it exists in every league and in every country in the world at soccer in it, right?
Yeah. Though I'm just gonna put out an interesting question right here for everybody, just something quick. What would you change when you're teaching a ref? Like, would you change is that something that you would say to them specifically when they're trying to become a referee?
Don't be influenced by the fans, I guess, because there's a lot of referees that I'm going to use Sporting example here. Whenever a foul goes, they will whistle, and then sometimes the referee will hear the whistle of the fans and just be under pressure to make a decision. But it's not just Sporting, Benfica and Porto as well. Mm-hmm. So that would be my number 1 advice. Don't listen to the fans. Go with your head, go with your heart, but just...
Mm-hmm. Anybody else?
I would say shave your head, just like me. Shave your head, scream your head off, and who's the Italian referee that we used to have? Oh yeah,
Pierluigi.
Let me tell you, that guy commanded everybody's respect. So I think a lot of it has to do with respect and making sure that you command everybody's respect, right? Uh-huh. So I would say that, but being bald also comes into play.
Of course. Neil, Kevin, would you guys say anything?
Don't accept any vouchers. That's pretty much it.
Try not to lose control of the game, and don't let your emotions come into place, I guess.
Sheesh. He's not the best referee at controlling the game. Anyway, though, we're gonna move on now to Copenhagen. I didn't watch that game, by the way. Like, I watched Sporting, so I mean, I got absolutely no knowledge about what happened in that game. All I know is that at one point, Copenhagen had 7 shots, and Porto had 1. So basically, Porto were getting dominated. At least that's what it looks like on the stats sheet. But anyway, give you guys the lineup real quick. Casillas in goal, Maxi, Felipe, Marcano, and Telles across the back. Danilo, Oliver, and Otavio. Corona, Jota, and André Silva. Kevin, I'll start with you. Thoughts on the game?
All right. I'm just gonna make it quick because I gotta take off again.
All right.
Tomorrow's Thanksgiving, so I'm trying to get last minute things done. I just wanted to go on for a little bit. I heard Porto and I had to run back on. I had to come to my team's rescue. But I was disgusted with the first half. I don't know if any of the Porto fans will agree with me. I don't know if any of you guys watched any of the game, any highlights, but Porto were just non-existent in the first half. I don't know who I was watching. It wasn't Porto, that's for damn sure. And especially after the game with the Benfica, I think that draw, it kind of dropped the morale a little bit. We couldn't get the win at Chaves, and we went the distance with Chaves to penalties, and we ended up losing. So that was a gut punch, and I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but you got to change your mindset from competition to competition, match to match. So, we got eliminated from the Taça de Portugal. Forget about it. Move on. You still have the Champions League, and the league is still within reach. So, the second half, they dominated. They had their chances. We couldn't capitalize our chances. So, that's pretty much the whole rundown of the game, really. Otavio wasn't Otavio. I don't know what was up with him. I've never seen him like this before. I think that,
maybe.
yeah, probably. And it's too bad that Layun was hurt because I think that he could have made a big impact coming in off the bench because I was watching. I was like, this game is screaming for Layun to come in. But and we could have used Brahimi as much as I don't like him. We could have used his pace. The field was a disaster. It was like muddy. They were slipping all over the place too. So very very poor in the first half. I couldn't believe it. And I even told you, Peter, yesterday. I asked you if Porto was playing. You said yeah, and I was like, well, it sure as hell didn't look like it.
Yeah, I thought you were genuine. Like, did Porto even play? I was like, yeah. And you're like, oh, because they're not existing. I was like, oh, you caught me there.
Yeah, so that's pretty much all I have in the game. And I gotta go, but before I go, I want to thank you guys for coming on, Sam. I see over here Neil's picture, Ixakana. That's a champion smile on his picture there with a scarf. You see it? Sleeves to campeão.
Just like Sergio's right there. Sergio's
like. Yeah, Sergio's happy at the luge. So, I want to thank Sergio for coming on too. Never really talked to him before. This is the first time, so it was awesome. So,
no worries. No worries.
Hopefully you can come back on again sometime in the future when you get the chance. So, and I promise, Sam, we're gonna have an episode where I'll be on full time when you're on because I think it's like the second time that I've had to leave early or I just like came in, whatever. But yeah, we'll have to get you back on, and I promise we'll do a full episode with me on there. So, and before I go, I want to.
Hey, Kev, before you go, since it's Thanksgiving and all in the United States, name one thing that you're thankful for.
We're thankful for my family.
That's very important.
Better one. Yeah, he went for a better one.
Yeah, I'm thankful for my family. I'm not thankful for Porto, not the last 3 seasons.
Yep.
All right.
So before I go, one more thing. I want to wish every American listener or anybody abroad who is American, I want to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. I know you Canadian guys already had yours, so I hope you guys enjoyed yours. That was like a month or two ago.
We found the turkey before you guys.
Exactly. All right, so I'm taking off now, and everybody have a good night and enjoy the rest of the show.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Take it easy, guys.
All right. So
honestly, he's like nice. Most Portuguese are dicks.
Oh my god.
Oh, I love you, buddy. You should have came to the Benfica house during the Classic. Oh my god. You would have had fun.
Anyway, though, guys, did anybody watch that game? The Porto game? No.
Yeah, well, I mean, I watched it a little bit on Sport TV, and I will agree with our friend Kevin here. The first half was a little crappy. I'm surprised he didn't speak out about Corona. Corona had a good game. He was pretty active, but
you probably forgot.
Yeah, he was like we just said. They've missed a lot of chances, and that's very unorthodox of a Porto team to be missing this many chances. So they'll have to get back on it, and probably who are they facing this weekend?
Hold on, I'll quickly check. Just gotta give me a moment. Football, come on,
Premier League. They're playing away, I would assume, right?
They're playing. Where the hell are they? Oh, they're playing away to
Bullinels.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a tough one.
But they're hosting
the Lisbon team. No, they wouldn't.
Oh no, it's away. Sorry, my bad.
That's a tough game for them. So hey, it might continue. The struggles might continue. So who knows?
All right. So we gotta move on though. We gotta move on. Benfica now. Can anybody help me? Because I'm not sure if it was 6-0 or 5-0. I didn't even check.
6-0.
Okay, who scored?
You forgot about that. Okay, so
I got the Mitro goal, 2 Mitro goals, Gedge goal, Pizzi goal, Hole goal.
Nelson Semedo. Servi.
Okay, Servi. Right in the second minute. How did I forget that? One of the few that I watched. Yeah, there we go. So Servi scored.
Gedge, Pizzi.
Yeah.
Servi, yeah.
Yeah, it was Servi, Mitro, Pizzi, Mitro, Raul Gedge, I think. There we go. Okay,
Raul with penalty and Gedge, yeah.
Yeah, all right. So, Júlio César in goal, Semedo, Luizão, Lindelof, and Luizão across the back. So, pretty much expected. Samaris and Pizzi in the middle. Salvio, Servi out wide. Gedge and Mitro All right, real quick, because if we do this one real quick and then we spend some time on Besiktas, we might have some time to ramble on a little bit. So, real quick, what do you guys think about this game? I mean, I didn't watch it unfortunately because I had a dinner to attend to, so I watched it after it was played, but I knew the score already, so it's not really the same thing. I thought we were quite dominant though, quick passing, and created a lot of opportunities, and we scored. What do you guys think?
Neil, go ahead.
I like these performances. I like these 6-0, 5-1 smashings. It just looks like the team is confident, and that's where they should be. No, when you're playing like these lower teams, like a team that is full of stars like Benfica, they should be dominating absolutely. No disrespect to Maritimo. I mean, they had some decent players, but they couldn't get the result that day. It just shows Benfica's on the right track and building their confidence, and hopefully they can continue to progress in the Taça Portugal.
All right, Sergio.
Awesome game, of course. There was nothing really negative about that game. And whenever you win 6-0, it's always a good game. So the one thing I want to highlight, well, two things actually. Nelson Semedo was just on fire. Like he that third goal. If you see him on that third goal,
tremendous.
How he worked that ball back, he didn't give up, and then he worked it back to, I think was it to Mitroglou, and he scored.
Yeah.
That was amazing. He had a great match, and that carried over into the first half of today's game. But Nelson Semedo had a fantastic game, and Gedge again had another fantastic game, and I actually made the comment today to somebody that it's actually he's putting on a more regular games like this, and he's making us forget Jonas right now, and that's I wouldn't have predicted that 2 months ago when he started first playing regularly. So there's nothing really wrong with that game. I mean, 6-0, you're smashing them, and it was a thoroughly dominant game.
Yeah, he's turning into what he's turning what I wanted him to. He became a little bit more like Gelson now. Because last year I was high on Gelson, like I rated him, but I didn't like his end product. I thought it was really, really bad. But once he started nailing down those passes, those crosses, and getting all those assists, then I was like, okay, this Gelson guy is really good. And the same thing has been happening with Gedge. He's been making the right decisions more and more often. When he rarely misses one, then he's gone from Benfica like altogether because he's a tremendous player. And very, very good. So really just want to touch upon these before we go on Besiktas though. What you guys knew about these rumors about Benfica signing a Brazilian left back called Marcelo Hermes on a free transfer?
Yeah, it was alluded to, I think, 2 days ago in the papers. It was both in the Bola and Record. I guess it's because there's all these rumors of Grimaldo going to Manchester City, which I don't believe, especially like you got. I don't know. Well, here's the thing. No, but here's the thing. I don't understand. This is what I don't understand. So someone like a PSG or a Manchester City, they're going like crazy buying all these players. Where do they find the money for financial fair play? And yet they're going, and then we hear UEFA going after FC Porto about financial fair play. So where does the financial fair play into teams like Manchester City or PSG when they're dishing out all this money for these players, but they're not balancing it by selling players?
I don't
you know what I mean? Like that's why I question when these rumors come out, especially when it involves teams like Manchester City or Inter. Like Inter's another one. Inter is interested in Nelson Semedo, right?
Yeah, but you know what Inter did with João Mario? They didn't sign him up for the Europa League because of the fair play.
Right,
they couldn't have registered him.
They're circumventing the system, but eventually that's going to catch up with them. I can't imagine they're going to find all this money now for Nelson Semedo. So there's things about these rumors that I don't pay really close attention to. But hey, it's another left back. So far, our scouts in Brazil have been bang on with the players coming out. I mean, Cortez is one of those one-offs that we can forget about.
Why did you even mention him? Why?
Cortez, who was it? Emerson. There's been a couple of duds, but
yeah.
we usually get players coming out of Brazil. We get them bang on. So it could be another. Right. So there could be he could be another good acquisition, but it's too early to say. I don't know him. I've never heard of this guy.
Yeah,
so
me neither.
Benfica doesn't need to go to Brazil and Colombia, and they don't need to do that anymore. The reason they're doing that, quick lottery buys. They see something in these guys. We're gonna hold on to these players for a little bit and turn around and sell a profit. You telling me we don't have enough fullbacks in our B team and our junior squad to call up? Sorry,
we don't have any good left backs.
Really?
Yeah. No. That's not
Just
a thing.
What about
Jefferson, if you want.
Who?
Jefferson.
Oh, Jefferson.
No, we don't. We don't.
Well, the only one that I would say is a good left back would be Rafael Guerreiro, right? That's really the only guy.
That's out of the question.
That's out of the question. But we still have Eliseo and Almeida that
yeah,
could play
but
that spot.
Eliseo, don't you forget, he's out of, he's a free agent in January. No, sorry, he's a free to sign for anybody in January. And this guy coming in, he's 21, he's young, he can compete with Grimaldo, and Eliseo, if he stays for another year, I mean, I can see it coming because it's from Jogo as well. It's all three of them reported it, so I can trust this little piece of news here. I mean, it can be completely fake, but when Jogo report things, they're normally right. So we'll have to wait and see. I think it could happen because it is a position that we're looking to strengthen, especially because I don't really rate Yuri. So I mean, we'll see. But now let's move on to the thing that screwed up my day. Absolutely. Haven't been the same since then. Benfica drew 3-3 against Besiktas. Obviously, Gedge Samir with a wonder goal, best Portuguese right back, by the way, and Feza with the goals for Benfica. We can discuss that, by the way, if you guys want, but that's my opinion. Ederson was in goal, Smith, Luizão, Lindelof, and Eliseu crossed the back. Lindelof had an awfully bad game, which is not really normal. Feza and PZ, Feza came back, looked really, really good, but it is still not fit for 90 minutes. Salvio, Servi, Gedge, and Mito. I mean, just real quick, what I thought about the game was that I don't get it. I don't understand the game. Like I'm looking at it and I'm trying to figure out what's happened, and I got no idea. 1 minute we're almost making it 4-0, and the next minute it's 3-1, and I'm just like, what the fuck?
Let's Sam, you were gonna say?
Yeah, I was gonna say. I thought. Well, obviously at halftime, you guys probably thought you had the game won.
I know I did.
Yeah, maybe you had chances to get a couple more, but you didn't score them, obviously. So I think it was just down to you thought you had it in the bag, but the defense was quite asleep, should I say?
Luizão was good though.
Some of the goals.
Luizão was good. Luizão had a very good game in my opinion, though. Sorry to cut you off, but go on.
That's what I've got to say.
That's it. Our defense was.
Although Meadows' goal was a very, very good goal, I have to say.
Tremendous, amazing. It was brilliant.
One of the best goals I've seen this season.
I think it was up there with Renato's goal last year. Just outside the box.
It's miles better.
Which one was better, Peter?
Nelson's, by far.
I think so too. It was ridiculous.
He's on the left foot, no preparation whatsoever, just fucking blasts it in off the crossbar. It's amazing.
So anyway, I'll say this. If Mitroglou had scored that fourth goal, none of this would have happened. None of this would have happened. And that just proves how great this game is. How football is. It's amazing how you can turn a game around on one moment like that. I
It's
mean,
unbelievable.
just the third goal was crazy. Seeing that ping pong like 1, 2, 3, buddy, I fell off my chair. I'm like, what the hell is that?
So hard with my dad. We were both laughing so much. Oh my god!
I think today
Wow.
was a lot of firsts for Benfica. I think it was the first time we were like up 3 goals and then gave away 3 goals in the second half. And then I'm pretty sure today was the first time that we saw 3 posts before going in before scoring.
Yeah.
Like a
So
goal.
today would have been the first time ever they would have won a game in Turkey. They have never won a game. Yeah, they never won a game in Turkey. Turkey is notoriously a difficult place for Portuguese teams. Like it's an intimidating place for anybody, regardless. But for Portuguese teams, it's a difficult place, just like Germany is. And that game should have been won, obviously. And there's going to be, but you know what, guys? It's almost like it's good. It should have happened. And it's probably the best game it could have happened because it kind of lights a fire. Hopefully, it'll light a fire under these players' asses because it could be complacency, right? It could be that, you know, they've come off up until the Porto game. They had this record of 15 straight away wins.
Like 16,
you know, their form has been
17,
fantastic. Yeah, their form has been fantastic. So maybe this will obviously go down as a loss in their minds because they should have won this game. Yep. So hopefully this kind of motivates them, and that last game against Napoli, that all-out game, is probably gonna be I'm hoping it's gonna be a good game for Benfica.
Yeah, they have to win, or they have to hope that Besiktas loses. But
nope, no. Dude, like Patrick was going on at every single TV guy. Benfica, hold on. If Besiktas doesn't win, Benfica can lose, draw, win. Doesn't matter. Just Besiktas they can't win. They can't win. That's basically
okay.
It. So at least there's that. We don't have to wait on a win against Napoli. I thought that Sam was gonna say something because I heard his mic pop up. Do you want to say something, Sam, or did you?
I was gonna say about, obviously you don't want to talk about the third goal for Besiktas, but Quaresma's assist. That was
fuck off. Don't even.
It was brilliant.
Don't even.
I didn't. So I didn't watch the 3 goals from Benfica. I didn't even watch the second half. Like I said, I watched the first half.
It was a cross. Yeah.
Oh, that must have been sick. I know it's Quaresma, but
Quaresma was up to his dirty tactics in the second half. He collides into Ederson.
It should have gotten at least 1 yellow, dude. The referee was bad managing the game. Like, even Pedro Henrique was like, oh, he was so quick to yellow card Pizzi in the first half, I think it was. And now he's not giving out any yellows for the Besiktas player, and I thought he was right. Adriano had 2 clear yellow card fouls, and not one of them was, a yellow. But, I mean, it's not down to the ref, but I do think that some of them players could have been yellow carded. But I don't know. I'm not sure if it was complacency. I mean, people are blaming the substitution. But I'm not.
No,
I think
dude.
I think the whole team performance.
I think Semedo wasn't doing a good job covering that wing. I think
Salvio wasn't helping.
Salvio was like sleeping second half. Yeah. He wasn't coming back. Like, I know he's not really. It's not his job to defend, but like he wasn't doing anything. And I think that Mitroglou, substitution for Raul should have came earlier in the game.
Dude, it was 58 minutes in, right? It was still 3-0, and I was telling my dad, get Rafa in, get Raul in now, because I felt like the momentum was switching, and obviously I might blame the timing of the subs, but not the subs themselves, because people are saying, oh, why did he bring on Rafa? Why did he bring on Samaris? Mates, the 11 guys on the pitch didn't perform. It wasn't Rafa, it wasn't Samaris that didn't perform. It was 11 players on the pitch. It's not their fault.
And then also too, like, Besiktas has Captain Canada, Atiba Hutchinson, man, like one of the best players in the world. That guy's lethal.
This guy's tough.
I just had to.
Oh. Brampton's own, the Atiba Hutchinson.
Brampton's own, bro.
He would have killed himself if he didn't mention Hutchinson.
Of course. No, but I mean, the first half was. I mean, have you seen a better half played by Benfica in Europe since we played what's their names, Tottenham in White Hart Lane.
Yeah.
Like, it was an amazing
Mhm.
first half. Like, it was
dominated.
we dominated. We thoroughly dominated. We went into a stadium that is intimidating.
We shut
Turkey is
him up.
not exactly.
We shut him up. Like, the girl was crying, for God's sake.
She was crying
then-
on TV. I know.
And then at the end of the game, she was happy with the Dina.
Well,
can help.
that's all good.
I was hoping
you know,
she would be crying at the end, but nope.
So I think we gotta just take it. It is what it is. Swallow our pride and bottle up all that frustration and energy and take it into the last game against Napoli. Thankfully, we're at home. We can fill up the luge. We can get a home field advantage, and hopefully we can pull this off. Now, I don't know if Jonas is going to be available. It'll be interesting to see if Rafa is fit enough to start instead of Servi. I don't know. Would you
Servi's
guys make that
good.
change?
No.
Dude,
Well, would you
Sergio
make that
was
change
the
right
flat
I'd switch it around. Maybe take off Salvi, bring on Rafa, but never Servi. Servi's amazing. He's so
Yeah.
good. He's
He looks like the
so
Flash.
technically sound.
So fast.
And he's very good defensively. He's very good at defending. So
Okay.
I wouldn't. Would you?
Well, you know what? Honestly, you're not gonna get Pizzi out. He's
No.
never gonna take out Pizzi. So he's gonna stay in number 8, even if Andrea Horta is back and healthy. Salvi is pretty much the captain, if not for Lison. So he's not going to take out Salvio. So it's probably going to end up being Servi, because Servi is kind of the rookie out of all of them.
Yeah, eventually he's going to, but not yet. I think he's performing. Even when he's not scoring, he's performing.
And I believe you there, because you know what, the one thing that Vittoria has shown is consistency in his teams. Right, he likes the team, he sticks with the team, and he squeezes as much out of that team as possible until somebody goes down with an injury. Right, that's his style. So
yeah, that's why I think that Jonas isn't going to go straight into the first team. Sorry to cut you off.
And that's why you'll never get someone like a Kirilu into the starting 11, because he's been given chances. Unfortunately, he hasn't capitalized on those chances. Now, and obviously we can go back and forth with the whole ties at Sporting, but let's be honest, he hasn't shown the flashes that Kirilu showed when he was at Sporting, and so he hasn't deserved the starting 11 position.
No, yeah, I agree with you.
Even if Jonas comes back, it's too soon to like put him to start. Like, I think we got a good thing going with Gedge. Yeah, you put Jonas as an option on the bench, like coming off the bench, but I don't think you take away the spot from the kid right away. Maybe you could argue Mitroglou, but he's scoring goals too, right? So
yeah.
The only way I
not
can
much
see
changes,
Jonas,
I think.
yeah, the only way I can see Jonas coming in back into the team is if he's used in the Taça da Liga, in those games, gets his footing back, and then if we qualify into the semis and move on to the final, then yeah, he would start in those games. But it's hard to see him displace Gonçalo Guedes right now, unless in January we end up selling Gonçalo Guedes, which, you know what, when it comes to Benfica, never say never. So
yeah, we'll see what happens.
They can't sell anyone. They're not allowed. If they're in the round of 16, they got to keep the team the way it is. And then you know what?
It's gonna be big. It's gonna be big if we make it through. I don't think anybody's getting sold. If we don't, then we might. All right. So I'd say we got about like 5 minutes. If you guys want to talk about something, is there anything you guys want to touch upon? That happened in the league or something like Boa Vista. If you guys want to talk about Boa Vista, what happened?
Say that, Boa Vista. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe.
So is anybody unaware of the situation?
What's going on with those two Nigerians?
Okay, so I'll try and explain you the best I can. There's two players. One of them is Ushib, the other guy's name's unpronounceable. I don't even know his name. So basically, one guy, which name I can't pronounce, he signed a contract with Boa Vista. And in September, they rescinded that contract. They terminated it, and he went on his way. Now he claims that he did that to save his career because Boa Vista were not paying him. They were literally thugs, forcing them to practice and play without getting any money. And that's that guy's part of the story. Ushibu was asked to reduce his salary and to leave, but he doesn't want to leave because he wants to run out his contract. He wants to get paid. But Boavista aren't paying him anymore for a couple of months now. I think it's like 3 months. They don't pay the bills, they don't pay anything. He's basically literally homeless right now, and he's forced to being played, trained outside of the team. Is not allowed in the training ground. It's a whole big mess around there. That's basically it. Basically, Boavista are not paying their players, and they want them to play anyway.
Do you think they could get a punishment like last time, relegation, or?
No, but they might get punished by FIFA.
In a case like that, if that case were in England, that wouldn't have it would have been dealt with back in September, right?
Yeah.
Like we wouldn't be hearing about it now in November. That's the difference between our league and a professional league like the English Premier League, right?
Yeah, and not even just that. We knew about this because of a BBC journalist. It wasn't even anyone Portuguese that fell on this.
Yeah.
So it's worth pointing that out as well. But then the news broke in Portugal. But what would you guys do? I mean,
what?
It's
It's
some consequences.
It's interesting because obviously there's rules and regulations when it comes to paying players, and if you're not paying them on time, they can rescind their contract unilaterally, right? So I think you got to, what is it? I think you have to wait 3 months, and once they don't pay in 3 months, you have you've got due process or whatever it is, and you can rescind. So yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if they be terminating contract by the end of the year, but it looks bad on us as a league, right? Like we focus in on the three big teams, and yes, they're financially a little bit more sounder, but we don't concentrate on the smaller teams, and there's a lot of smaller teams that are still struggling to this day.
That's why you almost got to give them like a piece of a pie, like television rights. Like in England,
that's
like
a whole
most of those
podcast. Jesus.
Yeah, most of those teams, like freaking the bottom team in the EPL,
Makes
as long
more
as
money
they're in
than
the
Benfica.
EPL, they're
Just let that
exactly.
sink in. They make more.
They get a lot of money
than
for being relegated as well from the top division. They get, I think it's millions when they get relegated.
Yeah, I think it was. I remember West Ham a few years ago. They were like crying because if they didn't get promoted, it was like £200 million, just like something crazy.
It's ridiculous money when we're thinking that Boavista and that and other teams are working with 15 million, if that much.
Yeah.
But back to Boavista though, because the piece of the pie, as you've said, would take up a whole podcast to talk about.
Well, it's interesting because now about Boavista, all of this has been we've been talking about Edu and how they've been supporting him because of his cancer fight, but now we see the darker side of football and how they've treated these two players like basic modern day slaves, right?
Yes,
they're not even getting played.
They said. That's what they said. They basically said that they were slaves. Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
You took the words right out of it. But that's something they got to do something where it's they can't like buy any players, or they can't sell something. We got to
but you know what though, it won't go far enough, and our league is so weak to impose those things that these teams go then to court and sue and get it overturned. Like even you know what I mean, like even when it came to that whole Caso Mateus and now this and this, like how much stuff has gone back and forth about Caso Mateus and Gil Vicente, like
because Gil Vicente are allowed to go up, but then they're not allowed to go up because now another team is gonna go to court again. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I do agree with you, but there's something's got to happen though. Like whether it gets reversed eventually, but they got to get punished. Just find them or something. Like don't put any actual restrictions. Just find them, and basically that's it. Like you are not paying your players. It's on the league article that you need to pay your players like 3 months or whatever. Like they can't be late for 3 months or plus, so you pay the fine basically.
Yeah. And the other two teams I would highlight, some of the smaller teams I would highlight is Guimarães and Chaves. They've had some great years. They both have had great years so far, both in the Liga and the Taça Portugal. So interesting how Chaves has been being promoted this year. Have competed and have had a pretty good season so far.
You know what they had going for them. While it was bad that they
Those stupid
weren't.
Barcelona jerseys.
No, the fact that they didn't go up last year. Basically, they were Primeira Liga side in a Segunda Liga competition, and I think that helped them because they went out of the first place in the last play of the game. That brought them to third place, which meant that they would stay in the Segunda Liga. So they were basically a whole year in the Segunda Liga with a Primeira Liga squad. So if you think about that, it's not that irregular. Although I do give lots of props to Jorge Simão, great manager, just very, very good manager. Also worth pointing out that Guimarães had like 4,000 people at the Boa Vista. You guys see that?
Yeah, I saw that. That was pretty cool. They've got a nice support. What was it, the White Angels? They've got a nice little clock there that are very loyal to the team, and it's good seeing that kind of support outside of the big three. Same thing with Braga. But yeah, it's a tale of two years this year. Like I think Braga struggled a little bit this year, whereas Guimarães has played pretty well. Yeah.
They're close. They're 1 point behind us, behind Sporting and Porto. Sorry.
Yeah, Braga or Guimarães. But I think it's Braga. Guimarães as well.
Guimarães and Braga, they're tied with 20 points.
Yeah, but you come to expect Braga to be competitive because they've got a good squad. They've got a good manner. Yeah, exactly. Whereas Guimarães, that's a completely new squad, right? They've got a lot of loanees. They've got the best player in the league, Marenga, right? So yeah, they've got the best striker in the league. So I mean, it's a little bit of a surprising tale there over in Guimarães, but it's good to see because they're traditionally one of the better supported teams in the Portuguese league, and you like to see that. So
they went through a slump with Rui Vitória on the first year, but now it looks like Pedro Martins has got that team nailed down, which is quite good. I'm happy for them. I like them a lot. I went to their games a couple times, and I basically say that they're my second favorite team in Portugal. Basically, if Benfica's not there, Guimarães better win it then.
Have you ever been to Braga? Have you gone and watched a game at Braga?
No, not yet.
That's a nice stadium. I've been there
eventually.
once.
Don't with their supporters though.
Well, I was gonna say a friend of ours was talking to me about how difficult. Like he was telling me, okay, he's been to the Clásico as a Benfica fan. He's been to the Alvalade as a Benfica fan, and I've said that'd be crazy to go because you're surrounded by cops and there's always the case of fan violence and whatnot. But he said, you know what? Honestly, I've never been more scared going up to Braga than I've never been scared before. And in Braga, going up to Braga is probably the scariest trip because there's not as much police presence. And the fans in Braga are passionate about their team, right?
Yeah, that's true. I had a friend of mine go. He's a Sportingista. He went in to watch, and there were chairs flying everywhere.
Yeah,
dude.
And if you guys remember when Passos was really good on their, I think it was that first Fonseca year, the whole Passos clock had to be thrown into the pitch. I don't know if you guys remember that because they were getting they were behind the goal at one point because they couldn't stay where they were because it was all so Braga is a tough place to go, but I don't really like their fans. But also, last thing that I want to point out, and then we can go, and chat a little bit off air. But I want to see what Álvaro Júnior Braga gets as a punishment for saying that he doesn't want Jorge Sousa to referee a Boa Vista game ever again. Because that was exactly what Luís Vieira said. He got 2 months of suspension. Let's see what happens with that in Boa Vista.
The biggest shocker though would be how long it takes the league to make that decision.
See, but he was really fast with Luís Vieira, so that's what I want to see.
I know. If you call it very fast 2 months, that's progress, I guess, right?
Yeah, it is fast though. It is fast compared to what we get. compared what we
That's
usually
true.
get. It's fast.
What's interesting is what's gonna come out of the Sporting and the Aruca fiasco, right?
Yeah,
it's gonna be very controversial because that'll have big implications. That's a little bit more serious. I don't know if Sam agrees, but that's a little bit more serious than criticizing a ref because you got two dirigeants that are going at each other, and whether he spit or whether it was vapor
I was gonna ask real quick. What do you guys think? Spit or smoke?
Spit, I would say.
I would say spit. I know. Neil, I'll speak for Neil. Neil obviously 100% thinks it's spit.
Everybody thinks it's spit. Then that's good. That's good because my dad thinks it's smoke.
I think it's I think it's spit. But I think it just looks bad on both teams. Like, what's his name? The Ruka Carlos Pinto. He's an ass.
Yeah,
he's 100% ass. Like he's been like that before. Because remember, there was a case with
Rui
Costa. So it's not the first time. So as Benfiquistas, we can't be like, oh, ha ha ha. Trust me, this guy Carlos Pinto isn't a saint. So if I was Bruno Carvalho, I probably would have punched him as well.
You can't spit. You can't spit at someone though, and I'm expecting a punishment.
You know what? There's a lot of things you can't expect coming out of Bruno Carvalho, but he's surprised a lot of people. So it doesn't surprise me. But it's happening, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's happening, but I not to justify his actions, Bruno Carvalho's actions, but
they're not.
You can't as a dirigente you can't do that. But Carlos Pinto is another nutcase out there.
You are the president of Sporting. You are the biggest member in there of the institution. You can't do that. Doesn't matter what the hell it is. Arouca is Arouca.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Sporting sport, all different.
Depends what was said to him. Like if it was,
but
like,
still,
Sam, no defense of spitting at someone.
You
like
need
you say,
to.
But,
if you're Sporting's president, you're not gonna do anything that makes them look bad.
Yeah, I wish they did show the video with sound though. But
that's what
who knows what was said.
Yeah.
Well, how much do you think that person got paid who leaked that video? Okay.
Yeah, that was a good point.
A lot.
I don't know what happened there. But anyway, guys, gotta wrap it up now. It's getting a little bit over the top, like 1 hour and 20 minutes long, I think. I want to thank Sergio for coming on. I mean, last minute just messaged me, hey, do you want me to come on? And I'm like, yeah, sure, why not?
I'm still sitting here at work with my Benfica Kashkol staring at me. Sorry. So
that's all right.
So
it was quite fun. Glad to have you here. We're definitely gonna have you on more often, though. We're gonna try and get you on. Same with Neil. Neil. Finally, you finally managed to come on, dude. Finally.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. I want to thank you guys for having me on. What's up to everyone out there? Planet Benfica podcast. What are the other outlets?
Three two guys. Yeah,
everybody likes them apparently.
3-2 guys.
Wait,
I was sad that Alex is not here today, but maybe one day.
It is what it is. Yeah. And I also want to thank Sam for taking his place. Not last minute, but I'm glad that you came along. Yeah, I know it's a little bit late for you as it is for me, but I'm glad that you stuck through this with us.
Yeah. I appreciate you having me on. It's been a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed coming on here.
Yeah, you just like hearing us fight, don't you?
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
Low key, he's just right here. He's just quiet and just listening. It's like, this is getting interesting.
It's funny because one time I tried tweeting at Sam because you're Irish, right? You're Irish, Sam?
Yeah, my mom's Irish. Yeah.
And so I tweeted Irish Sportingista thinking it was you. Boy, was I wrong. I learned the hard way not to tweet that person. Let me tell you. He doesn't really like Benfiquistas. And I'm like, okay, sorry, never mind. I was trying to tweet you, and I ended up tweeting the wrong person. We do appreciate you being a calmer influence, a calmer Sportingista. There's a lot of passionate ones out there. So. Yes.
Twitter handles, you can follow me at Peter1678, at PD Footy Podcast, at Fernandez Neil, at Sergio _ R
81. Yep.
There we go. And at Sam Fonseca with double A, right? Or am I wrong?
Yeah.
There we
The first A was taken, so
There
had
you
to
go.
improvise.
San Fonseca with double A. All right. Thank you, people, for watching us, listening to us. I hope you had fun. We certainly did. We'll be back next week to talk some Liga matches. About time. All right. Ciao.